help women save lives and peacefully end abortion where you live.
I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired.
You were serious about that?
Be inspired to change hearts and minds by joining over 1 million volunteers taking part in the global movement happening in your neighborhood.
She says, pray that I can get through this abortion. And I said, oh, no. So she went ahead and went into the abortion clinic. And she just came out. She told us, I'm not going to get the abortion. We just had a baby saved. We had a baby saved in Memphis today. Praise the Lord.
This is the 40 Days for Life podcast with your host, Sean Carney.
Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the 40 Days for Life podcast. I'm Sean Carney, the president of 40 Days for Life, and your host for this podcast, which is dedicated to helping you end abortion where you live. Happy Mother's Day to all the wonderful moms out there. Mother's Day is fantastic, and if you're a guy and you're shopping for your bride or your mom, go to 40daysforlifegear.com and get mom one of the cool things. We got a lot of great female t-shirts and fleeces. Then, for being so thoughtful, you should reward yourself with this fishing shirt and buy it for yourself. So it's not really not thinking about you. It's very much self-motivated, but also it'll keep mom happy. So be sure to do that. Go to 40daysforlife.com. Today, we are going to discuss the do's and don'ts of Mother's Day and Father's Day. And this will be a podcast that will probably be one of the most popular podcasts we've ever done in our history because we know from a lot of men they have blown Mother's Day and had the repercussions of that. And we also know from the men that they love Father's Day. And so we are going to talk about some do's and don'ts for mom and dad on a time when we need to celebrate parents because parenting is under attack and the family is under attack. And Mother's Day and Father's Day remind us of the great gift of mothers and fathers. So joining me, somebody who has never blown Mother's Day and is Mr. Mother's Day, is Mr. Steve Carlin.
I love moms. Moms are great. Who can love anyone more than a mom?
I love your mom because she's hysterical. And, and I love my mom, and they're way too much alike, and they can never meet in person.
It's like crossing the streams in Ghostbusters.
It's crossing the streams in Ghostbusters if our moms met. And it's also, I think it's Back to the Future. You can't see yourself, or spontaneous combustion will end the entire universe. Is that what Doc Brown says? Something happens. I forget the line, but the world would end if our moms saw each other.
I still want it to happen.
I don't.
Okay. I believe you. I feel like in a short dose, it could be excellent.
They're going to be, we'd have to chaperone the situation.
Yeah.
They're going to agree on everything in life, and they're going to really hit it off until they don't.
Exactly, yeah.
And
so like Sean and Steve's Mother's Excellent Adventure?
Yes.
Like that type of thing?
Yes. And I think the big decision of our mom's meeting is whether or not we decide alcohol will be involved. Because that could be a huge grace. That could be a huge risk. My mom's not a big drinker, which may be reason to like, hey, we're meeting Steve's mom today. Take a gin and tonic. And that could backfire. I've definitely, made my mom a drink that's kind of strong and regretted it. But like I was trying to get mom relaxed. That didn't work.
So she's not the mom. Well, I got to be careful here. There's a real danger in this banter section of this podcast.
And my mom listens to the podcast fairly consistently.
All right, so you're rolling the dice here.
I am rolling the dice.
Your mom is awesome, though. I love every time I see your mom at a 40 Days event.
Love you, Mom. So this is a good reminder that I need to get her a Mother's Day gift. So, okay, we also have a mom, Ramona Trevino.
And a grandmother.
Yes, you're like double duty over here.
And a stepmother.
You're everything.
Yeah.
You're so young.
Are you a godmother?
I am a godmother.
It's 4.
I'm an aunt.
We're getting smoked here.
Yeah.
And an aunt, yeah. You seem like you'd be the cool aunt.
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Into that conversation.
I'm the cool mom. I'm the cool grandma.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so the do's and don'ts of Mother's Day and Father's Day. I want to ask each of you, do you like Father's Day more or less than your birthday? This is a selfish question, but you got to answer.
Yeah. Oh, that's a tough question. I love them both. I think Father's Day being in summer is a big point of favor for me.
What about you?
Mother's Day or my birthday? I honestly think I enjoy Mother's Day.
More?
Yeah.
You always hear that like a man isn't supposed to care about his birthday after like 10 years old. I don't care. I love my birthday. It's awesome. I do whatever I want on my birthday, but Father's Day is great. How about you?
I like Father's Day more. I was the same. I didn't care about my birthday a whole lot. I mean, I turned 16 and that's cool. Then you turn 18, which I don't even remember what I did on my 18th birthday. I was like, I can vote. I was a nerd. And voted for George W. Then 21, but I didn't care about my birthday, honestly, until I met Mary Lisa. And we had birthdays. I mean, I remember my second grade birthday party was awesome. I went on a go-kart trip with Josh Carlson, my best friend at the time, and we had like pizza. It was like,
Which year was this, you said?
I was second grade.
Okay.
The Cowboys were winning Super Bowls. I was like, it was awesome. Okay. But then I just went through a stage where I was like, I don't really care about my birthday. And then I met Mary Lisa, and birthdays were like huge at every age throughout her
Awesome.
entire family.
Yeah.
So she's like, it's your birthday in 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, this is new. So
Do you have like the birth month thing where like, forget it, it's
ours.
March, which is
we
my
laughed
birthday.
when I turned 40 because it was spring break and we had St. Patrick's Day because it's March 20th. And we went to Tyler to see my family because they wanted to throw me a party. So like Mary Lisa's parents threw me a party. Mary Lisa and I went to see George Strait for my 40th birthday. And then my parents threw me a party. And it kind of became like the month of Sean. And like after the last party, I was like, okay, I'm 40, I'm done. Like we gotta, stop.
gotta stop
It's gotta
sometime.
stop somewhere. But it was really cool. But I think I like Father's Day more because part of it is scheduling. I mean, I've traveled a lot on my birthday over the years. I spent my 30th birthday in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Great place, Fort Wayne, but I spoke there and, I didn't think about it. I didn't really care. I wasn't like depressed. I was just like, whatever. But Father's Day is always Sunday. So I think that's why I like it more and it's fun. I love getting all the cards from all the kids and, there's an array. You get the high school sentimental cards, and then you get like Timothy, who draws like what looks like a monster and has like a heart, and
Yeah, you get like D-A-B, and then the B is just a backwards D, and you're like, I don't
they're
care,
all
I love
good.
this. Yeah.
They're all good. I'm very sentimental with stuff like that, so I keep all the kids' cards. Mary Lisa kind of laughs at me because I have a file drawer with like, it looks like a pile of garbage because it's like construction paper and stuff, but it's all the kids' cards over the years. So yeah, I like Father's Day. I like the summer thing. I like, the idea that basically I'm going to be able to eat whatever I want.
Yeah, and Father's Day and Mother's Day, they're just kind of chill. Maybe because it's on a Sunday, maybe because it's spring and summer, but you just wake up, you're going to have a good day. You go to church, come home, do whatever you do. It's great.
What's the best Mother's Day experience you've ever had? Like, can you think of?
I don't know. I don't know that there's necessarily a best experience. I just think that, just getting flowers. I love getting flowers.
Okay.
Cards. And then just being able to go, like, I know it's changed since my conversion. So I know, like, for me, just being able to go to Mass and receive that Mother's Day blessing
That's
has
interesting.
really been special for me.
didn't
So
think
I
about
always
that.
look forward to that, especially when I was pregnant. And so when they would call the pregnant mothers up and to stand up and do that blessing for the pregnant moms, I always really loved that. So I think for me, that's what's really made Mother's Day special.
That is deep. You're bringing me to tears. So we wouldn't have thought of this. So Planned Parenthood Ramona, Mother's Day.
it was special, but it wasn't.
But it's not after your conversion.
Yeah, it's changed.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, if we go back, you left the abortion industry in the spring of 2011. So then you had Mother's Day right after that.
Yeah. And I was pregnant.
We should just end the podcast. What are we going to say? We had wings one time.
How'd you match that? Yeah. It was BOGO. Buy
Steve
one,
ate
get one.
237 cheese curds in 1 hour. It was awesome. Ramona's having
takes
these
on new meaning, right?
life-changing experiences for Mother's Day, and you and I were like, I did ribs one year. They were killer. Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
it takes on new meaning.
That's
whenever
great.
you have all of these new lives to look at their faces and think, they wouldn't be here had I not had a conversion. So every Mother's Day is just a reminder of that. So
All right,
yeah.
podcast is over.
Beautiful. I feel dumb. I was going to talk about going to the Astros game.
Well, let's hear about it. I'll be deeply moved by that.
yeah, Steve's like, who pitched?
If it's the Astros playing the Rangers, then I'll be deeply moved by that.
Yeah,
as well.
that's true. That's true. Well, that was fun because it was spontaneous. We were talking about spontaneously going to sporting events earlier today, how fun that is. But Mary Lisa was like, why don't you take the boys, which was Seamus and Declan, and her dad, and we went to an Astros game, and we planned it like 3 days before Father's Day. She's like, y'all should. I think we went the Saturday, and then Sunday had like the dinner and everything for Father's Day. But it was awesome. And we sat in a place we'd never sat. Like, you know how they have the middle section that's kind of hanging over? I've never sat there. I've either in Timbuktu because we have no kids with us, or we're closer on the first deck, or we're out there when we do have kids with us. And then if it's
The
just
$47 hot dogs.
exactly, all that. And we set the record for hot dogs at this hot dog stand. We take our kids to the Astro game every year, and we go on dollar hot dog night so that we don't have to give a kidney to the Astros in order to eat. And my brother-in-law was with me. He has 6 kids. We had a couple of priests. We had a couple of seminarians. We had my 8 kids. We had Mary Lisa's parents. Anyways, I walk up to the hot dog stand, and I say, I need 47 hot dogs. And the guy's like, for real? And I said, yeah, no, 47 hot dogs. And he rang a bell and said, that's a record.
Yeah.
I guess the hot dog stands compete, like who had the biggest order. And we set the record in wherever we were, left field. And so 47 hot dogs. And then you've got to like take a bunch of kids to carry them. And then it's kind of like the tyranny as a parent comes out. No pickles, no relish, no mustard. You got to have
Just
it
the hot
straight.
dog.
Yeah, because we're not doing all that for all these little kids. And then one of the priests who was with us is a big Astros fan. He's like, hey, thanks for the hot dogs. I was like, we're not eating that. I'm going to get us brisket nachos.
That's right.
We're getting serious, which they put in a helmet.
Yeah.
That's what makes it.
And to this day, I've seen the priest wearing the helmet.
And you take them home with like, hey, this is great. Now I got this helmet. Like, but you don't really know what to do with the helmet once you get it home.
But this priest, well, he wore it.
Oh,
Like at the
this
kids-
is a big helmet.
Yeah,
This isn't
it
like
wasn't the
No,
little
it's the
miniature
big helmet. Not a
Oh,
little helmet. It's
sweet.
brisket nachos. It's this big helmet.
That's a good look with the collar and the brisket
Oh, he had because
nacho
he was
helmet.
at the elementary school, and the kids are like cracking
Yeah.
up because he's wearing a helmet. And I was like, "Is that the nacho helmet?" He's like, "Oh yeah," but I cleaned it. I was like, "I assume that," but
So that's your best Father's Day?
I think
memory?
so.
Awesome.
What about you?
Oh gosh, I think mine would be. I had a year where I had a column in the local newspaper, the town I grew up in,
I got to read these
Appleton
articles.
Post Crescent, and
You're like George Will.
yeah, he likes baseball. But I realized that this particular year that this happened, I had the Sunday like opinion page column on Father's Day. So I was like, this is awesome. So I wrote this column that was like kind of started out about how just like our culture doesn't respect fathers. Like everybody's like the dumb Homer Simpson dad, but like fathers are great and we need to respect them. And then I kind of like concluded by talking about what a great man my father is. And I know that like every morning my dad gets up, goes to the deck, like opens a newspaper, drinks his cup of coffee. So I got up early that morning, so there was no chance I'd miss it. So I went out and just sat on the deck and waited as he was like reading the paper until he got to that article. It was a great moment.
I'm dying over here with a stupid Astros story. We just spontaneously went to the game. It was fun. Gosh, y'all are killing me. That's awesome. So you wrote an article about the greatness of your own dad on Father's Day,
Yeah.
and then made sure he
Watched
read
him
it.
read it, not knowing it was going to be there. It was fun.
What you got, Sean?
I tried a new beer at the stadium. It was like a new IPA. I was like, I'll check that out. Yeah, it's Father's Day. What the heck? I'm done. I got nothing. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think one of the trends too. This is on our. Let's just say how not to celebrate these 2 days. Okay. One of the things regarding food, mom or dad should not cook unless they want to, and I want to. Yeah. I think most years I've done ribs, and my brother-in-law comes over and he does a brisket, and there's like potato salad everywhere and like chips and salsa flowing, and it's just like glorious. But I insist I want to do ribs. And in June, it's hot. You know, so you get home from Mass, and then you're out by the grill at like noon or 1 or 2. And she's like, it's hot. Are you sure you want to do that? I was like, oh, yeah. Like, it's on. Do you like to cook on Father's Day?
I do. I'm not a breakfast guy, but for whatever reason, if you do like the egg, bacon, cheese sandwich, love it. Can't get enough of it. And Laura always apologizes, like, I feel bad you're cooking on Father's Day. No, this is what I want to do.
Chorizo and eggs tacos in the morning. Migas. It's great.
Yeah.
What do you?
And you're cooking them for yourself for Father's Day?
No, Mary Lisa will cook those. She knows I don't do breakfast either, but if I do, it's like protein and spice. And so she'll make like chorizo and eggs, which is just heaven. You don't cook.
Not on Father's Day. Not on Mother's Day, no.
Are you like I want to go
the day off on Mother's Day?
But do you want to go out to eat, or you want your husband to cook?
I'll go out to eat.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great.
I don't expect him to cook.
Because here's the not thing. Even if
I don't want him to
sound
cook.
like that is actually something you want.
I don't want him to cook.
Okay.
Even if mom or dad likes to cook, though, you doggone better not let them do the dishes, right?
Right.
Correct.
Yes.
And I've done the dishes on Father's Day because I like doing the dishes. Okay. And my mother-in-law like had a conniption.
Yeah, she's right.
It's like a patriarchy with her, and she's like, "You need to sit down and rest," and you know. And so, but it needed to be done. I don't mind doing it. I like doing the dishes, and so, anyways, you know.
Here's my not to do on Father's Day or Mother's Day. I don't know if this is a thing beyond just like my idiot friend, but like, hey, what are you doing for Father's Day? I'm going fishing with the boys. Oh, that's great. You're taking your sons fishing? No, I'm going fishing with the boys. It's like, I know it's like your day, but you spend that day with your kids and or your parents.
This is a controversial part of this podcast.
Ooh.
There was a trend that Mary Lisa noticed, because we always do something with the kids. And I've never had a friend do it, but Mary Lisa noticed it with women who were like, I want to go shopping by myself and I don't want to be around the kids. And what are you going to say to them? Like, you're a horrible, selfish person. But she's like, really? He's like, well, I'm around them all the time. It's kind of the worn out mom Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And I once heard a priest reprimand a mom who said that. It's like, you're not going to spend Mother's Day with your own children. Like, no, it's my day. And it's just kind of this awkward moment. But that's a thing. And I don't know what we're supposed to say. I don't like it, but to me, if that happens, you're not living your life. Like, you need to go on more dates. It's definitely a sign of the guy. You need to surprise her with flowers. You need to take her out more. You need to get her away from the kids, because now it's Mother's Day. She doesn't want to be around her own kids. Or dad, in this case. Like, I'm just going to go out and go fishing, which is all great, but how are you not taking your kids?
Yeah.
You know, that's where, I guess, unlike a birthday, because somebody can say, what do you want to do with your birthday? And you're like, I want to whatever. Go to a concert.
It would make more sense for your birthday to say, I want a date for myself. Like,
correct.
That makes more sense than Mother's Day or Father's Day.
Correct. But that would have to be with your spouse. I mean, there would have to be some kind of, you could go fishing, but then you're coming back and you're taking your wife out to eat or whatever. But I think it's strange to just have that day and be like, I don't.
Deuces, kids. I'm gone.
Well,
Peace out. Dad's going fishing.
Don't Mother's Day and Father's Day have a built-in schedule? Like, you have to do this. You got to go to church if you're into that, which we are. And whatever you do needs to be done with your kids. And I always think it's kind of sad.
It is sad.
Yeah, I put that down just based on that experience that I mentioned, and I was really hoping that you guys would be like, that's not a thing. Nobody else does that, but it sounds like that is a thing, because you can have a birthday without having kids, but you can't have Father's Day without having kids or Mother's Day without having kids. It's like the relationship is built into the day. And what I think is great about it is everybody's just happier on those days. Like the kids are as happy to celebrate us as we are to be celebrated by them, if not more so. They're, oh, and we got flowers for mom, and we drew this for mom, and like there's always like a million cards. Like I've got 5 kids, but somehow there's always somewhere like between like 13 and 18 cards. We don't really know where they came from, but kids just can't stop writing them out once they start with the crayons and everything.
Have you noticed, knowing your wife, like, oh, she's really loving this Mother's Day?
Yeah, I think so. But we should hear from a mom on
Like,
whether our intuition is correct here.
Yeah, like have you had Mother's Days that are better than others?
Oh, yeah.
Is your husband to blame for both?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And he knows if it's not good,
He's made aware.
Yes.
It's not an email either.
And it's not even really because I'm not one of those that necessarily wants gifts or anything. I'm more of an emotional type of person.
Yeah.
So like
And
I just want to
relaxing.
be loved on. I want to just be paid attention to. I just want to be felt special. And if it's not happening, he's gonna hear about it. You know what I mean?
That's great.
I just want to be recognized as the mother.
Yes.
That's it.
And I think too, I'm a little bit like a guard dog. I won't allow the little kids to annoy mom on Mother's Day. And so you find yourself saying these phrases, "It's Mother's Day."
Yeah.
Which is like, don't pepper mom with 80 questions about something that's going to happen in 2 weeks.
We've had a new phrase arise in our household, which is, you're not allowed to talk to mom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I just make stuff up. Where's mom? She went to Dubuque, Iowa. And just they kind of get confused and they leave the room. It buys us like 10 more minutes. So yeah, I think you have to do that. I do have a distinct Mother's Day memory where I was like, Mary Lisa is loving this, and I decided to get reservations at Papados, which I know you're a fan of, with great Cajun food. And I was like, they have to do, like, Papados is awesome, but they have to do like some cool Mother's Day thing. And it's a place you can take all the kids, And so I got a reservation, and I thought, I don't know, is this a disaster? The parking lot is slammed. We go, my in-laws are with us, and we had this huge table at Papados. And I could tell Mary Lisa she didn't have to cook. She loves Papados. It's just awesome. The guy came over at the end and was like, "Mom, do you want some complimentary banana pudding?" And she's like, "Yes." And it was
Yes,
glorious.
I do.
Yeah. But I remember thinking, all right, I hit a home run with this one, because then, she went home and took a nap, and it was just like the perfect, Mother's Day thing. But I think the pampering is so important. My thing that I didn't do one time that I was reprimanded on is I didn't make a plan for breakfast. So then breakfast is like a chore because you got to feed the little kids. And so I've annihilated that. And she loves these like homemade cinnamon rolls that the donut place down the street. So I get up early, and now I've corrected my errors. But I mean, there were multiple years I was like, I didn't really think about breakfast. And she loves breakfast. So I was finally like, quit being a moron and like think about this a week ahead of time.
I've got another how to botch Mother's Day, which hopefully I'm the only one who's been guilty of this. I've been better lately, but sometimes just things get crazy, right? And you're not inspired on a gift. And also, it should be noted that Mother's Day is typically the Sunday that follows the Canadian March for Life. So that leads up there. And so
this
it's
is
always,
bad for
yeah.
you.
So I'm like, oh, I got a week. But then actually 2/3 of that week, I'm going to be in Canada.
But Mother's Day sneaks up on you.
It
And I
does.
think Father's Day's in the summer. The kids are out of school. It's just different. But Mother's Day, it's always like, we just had spring break and now it's Mother's Day.
And you think middle of May, but sometimes the middle of May is like the 8th or 9th of May.
Right.
And then it's just all bets are off. And I've had our family, not even just for Mother's Day, but we had a sad trend for a few years where we would talk about piece of paper gifts where it's like, oh, shoot, we forgot something. Here's a printout that says what's coming when Amazon arrives.
An IOU?
Yeah.
Those are IOUs.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Not good.
That's terrible. That's really bad. Okay. Woo.
I'm offsetting the Father's Day memory.
Yeah,
with
the Father's Day
newspapers.
memory is
It's out the
dead.
window.
Yeah, poor Laura. That's an IOU, flowers plus dinner. Oh my gosh, that's hysterical.
I tried to rebrand it as a coupon, but it didn't fly.
The IOU gift. One of the do nots that we have on here, and I think this is hard, is not to rush around and do 50 different things. Because for us, so we have our moms, then we have our wives. And so if we're out of town, you can't do anything. One year, my mom was in like the week before. And I took her and Mary Lisa to like a nice lunch, just the three of us and Timothy, because the kids were in school. And it was like great, because I normally don't get to just take my mom to lunch, But most of the time, I mean, do you try to see everybody? Because your mom lives in your town, right?
She's a couple hours away.
Okay, so how do you do that?
It's just been kind of ad hoc, depending on the year, what happens, who goes where, what happened, all that sort of thing. There's no structure or rhythm to it.
There's no plan.
No, it's different from year to year. Like, we have a plan going into it.
You do?
But, yeah.
Okay. You're not like
Yeah.
the week before going, what are we doing?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think it's important not to... everything in life is rushed, and I think we need some of these special days to offset that a little bit. Laura has described me historically. I don't think it's a case when I need to get things done around house. I don't think it's a case for work. But other than those cases, Laura says, you have one speed, and I would describe it as, quote, sauntering.
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 Wow. Great diction.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But I think that's a healthy thing on a Mother's Day or Father's Day. Take it easy a little bit. Like, don't sit around and watch TV. That's entertainment. But leisure, I think, requires a little bit of just kind of like the slow pace, stopping to smell the roses on Mother's Day, literally, hopefully smelling the roses.
I feel like for us, it's a challenge because my mother lives with us, and so I kind of take her for granted. Love you, Mom. Don't mean to take you for granted, but it's kind of like, oh, well, I see her every day, and then Mother's Day rolls around and it becomes about me. And then I'm like, I still have my mom. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like trying to find the balance between my mom, myself, and then my mother-in-law. Because she doesn't live far from us.
Okay.
So it's like, how do we incorporate all of this, right? With just, there's only so many hours in a day.
Okay.
So like, there's the challenge of, but you brought up a good idea, which was like, okay, well, maybe the day before, you know what I mean? Like trying to go and do something with mom or the mom-in-law the weekend of Mother's Day and kind of save Mother's Day itself for me because I'm selfish and I want it to be about me on that day because I'm not selfish any other day, but I want to be selfish on Mother's Day.
Also, with Sundays in general and holidays, it's like the joke about the priests and moms, like they have to work.
Yes.
It's like, it's Christmas. Great. Yeah. I have 10,000 things I need to do, and it's hard. And Mother's Day is kind of the time off. That's interesting about your mom because Mary Lisa and her mom are very close. They see each other every day. They're just alike. And so this year, I don't know what I'm going to do because last year I kind of hit like the grand slam, like walk-off home run for Mother's Day because I did get an inspiration and most years I don't. I've bombed some stuff.
You one time described yourself as the Peyton Manning in the playoffs of gift giving.
Yes. I'm like, I win all the stats during the year, okay, throughout the year. I do a lot of random buying wife flowers, okay? I'm into that. So you didn't think it was coming, And so all that's good. But then sometimes the holidays, playoff game, it's like, oh. But like I've bought Mary Lisa new pots and pans for Mother's Day, like the most sexist thing you can do. And she's like, I love it, because she was complaining about them like 6 months earlier or whatever. But last year, I was like, I would never get a pedicure. I'm terrified of anybody touching my feet. It's why God has forced me to like have foot surgery because it's just like purgatory on earth. Like I wear shoes all the time. I don't like stubbing my toe. I don't like dogs around my feet. I don't want anybody near my feet. I like have this thing where I don't want my feet touching anything. Okay. So a pedicure would literally be like hell. Like if you want to torture me, you can like drug me and take me to a pedicure place. But I was like, they would love to do that together because they've done it. They do it every now and then. So I researched like cool pedicure place or whatever you Google, nice pedicure place. And I went into the place, the little spa thing. Okay, and I walk in, and I'm in like a Johnny Cash t-shirt and jeans. And the ladies are like, "Oh, sir, are you here for a ped?" "You're here for your wife." I was like, what gave that away? You know. So I bought a gift card for or a pedicure for Mary Lisa and her mom to go together, and then I got them a gift card to the lunch place next door, so that post Mother's Day they could go and whatever on like a random Tuesday. And they absolutely love that because they would never do that on their own. Like they would never plan it. They'd talk about doing it, but they wouldn't just like go do it.
That's brilliant, Sean. That's brilliant.
I'm telling you. And I was very proud of myself actually. But you still don't know.
Right.
Because I'm giving her, it's like it's still gift cards, but it's, you know, and they went berserk and they had never been to this place before. And it was like the double whammy. You give it to them on Mother's Day. Greatest thing ever. Then they go do it, and it's like this was so awesome.
Yeah,
and all this.
The anticipation.
Yeah, it was actually quite cool. I don't know what I'm doing this year, so that's the problem.
Well, just make sure it's not a piece of paper.
Honey, I got
It's
us
not an IOU.
I got us Astros tickets. And there's an IOU for a hot dog. I can't believe you did that. How many years has that happened?
It depends because it's not just Mother's Day, right? Christmas, birthdays,
Multiple holidays where Steve's writing on
Day.
Multiple
or
offender.
Randy's like a gas station receipt, and on the back of it he's like, "Hey, I owe you." Oh my God, there's a lot of pressure too because you've blown it. So then there's like the guilt. You got to make up for it. So the IOU is like, I don't know, car.
And the only thing that's harder than that is, I mean, you're going to face this year. It is tough when you nail it because now how do you live up to that?
Well, it's the expectation. That's why I've got to get rid of the Peyton Manning reputation and do the Tom Brady, where you're just winning Super Bowls every year and you're cruising.
Do you think this Tom Brady, Peyton Manning thing makes us degenerates? Because I kind of think that it does.
No, I think it's a perfect analogy.
All right.
Yeah, no.
It works for me.
Perfect analogy. And even Manning ended up winning 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like I'm transitioning into that. But yeah, I love Mother's Day. I love pampering. I think especially having kids, small kids, old kids, and you just actually realize how much mom does. Mm-hmm. And the fact that motherhood is under grave attack now. It's just tragic. And even in the post-Roe America, just ignoring pro-life women altogether. They have no opinion. What about a mom who wants to raise her kids?
Right.
And wants children? And even a mom who is pregnant out of wedlock and it's not the best circumstance, but she's going to have the baby, give the baby up for adoption, raise the child. Like, how come we're removing all the merit from that? And all of a sudden it's like, no, what's courageous is traveling from evil Texas to heavenly California and having an abortion. Mm-hmm. That's courageous motherhood. And it's just... So the pampering, I think, is really, really important because you're honoring God. You're helping your wife on a practical level of like, you're not doing anything today. And
plus it's one of only 2, maybe 3 days a year that moms will allow you to do that. Otherwise, they're like, I mean, moms get stuff done. They're running the show. And
yes, we do.
It's tough to get to that point where they're willing to let you do it because they're used to producing.
Well, one of the things that I noticed that we don't have on the don't is don't wish a happy Mother's Day or a happy Father's Day to the opposite parent. That was a thing too, or I don't know, it could still be a thing where if it's Father's Day and the single mom is like, happy Father's Day, Mom, because there's not a dad in the picture. That drives me crazy. Do you know what I'm talking about? So if you have you're a single mom
and it's Father's Day, you're wishing,
and everybody's like, oh, wishing mom a happy Father's Day,
like reminding her that she's a single parent.
Well, it's more like she's dad and mom because dad's not in the picture. That drives me insane. It drives me insane. And I'm saying this as a former single mother,
right?
Who, as a single mother, when Father's Day rolled around, I didn't want anyone wishing, or my daughter, or anyone saying, "Oh, well, happy Father's Day."
Were you sad on Father's Day, or you?
No, I mean, I had my own father,
Right.
but no. I mean, there was, of course, there's a sadness there because you're grieving the fact that your daughter doesn't have her father in her life.
Yeah.
And you recognize that, right? But what we're doing now in our culture is, because I've seen this like on social media, where moms are like wanting to take that role of mom and dad. And on Father's Day, it's like, oh, happy Father's Day to so-and-so because she's a single mom doing both. And it's like, no, because we can never replace a father. And that's why I never wanted that, because it's like I understood that there was always going to be a void in my daughter's life, and there's nothing that I could ever do to fill that void. I'm her mother. And so we don't need to be doing that as a society. I know it's kind of a trendy thing because, yeah, we do see so many single moms who are taking on that role. But by doing that, we're trying to say, okay, well, fathers are replaceable. Well, they're not. And we know that.
That's really awesome. I wouldn't have thought of that.
So don't do that. Stop doing that.
Yeah. Ramona's just carrying this whole podcast. I'm over here talking about the Astros and hot dogs. I thought you were going to say something else, which I have noticed, which is that day is for that person. And sometimes we do like, you see another couple and you're like, Happy Mother's Day to the mom. And then you're like to the dad, you're like, oh, happy Father's Day. Or Father's Day's coming up. Or there's some kind of like, you're supposed to say something to him.
Or
and
God
it's like,
forbid the people that don't have children and they have dogs or pets and they're like, Happy Father's Day and Mother's Day. I've seen that too, where they're like, Happy Father's Day and Mother's Day for your, because they have fur
This
fur
is the
babies.
controversial. This is the controversial thing. You're not a dog parent.
Right.
That doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
We
drives me
have-
crazy.
Unless you
I
breeded
love
with
my
a dog
dog.
and you have a dog. That makes you a dog parent.
I love my dog. I love my dog. But
you're not a dog
But I'm not a
mom.
dog mom. That drives me crazy. I've
We don't
seen
have
that happening.
We don't have a dog. We have a lizard. And so Laura jokes about our scale baby.
Oh, God.
She's a
is our-
scale mama.
Yeah, that's what she
just
jokes about.
really-
Laura hates this stuff as much as we do. But
That really creeps me out.
Yeah.
A scale baby.
speaking of fathers and mothers, my dad hates animals. Like, there's animal lovers. My dad is the opposite, and
I am too.
He's got this tremendous rant about how like people bring their dog and then they like expect you to pet the dog. Like, I don't want to pet the dog, because then you're sitting there and you just have dog hand. Like,
I love your dad. I want to write an essay about him. Okay, so I'm an outcast here. So and the kids that like I'm Scrooge or whatever they want to say, but I don't want pets. And it's kind of like some people don't want kids, okay? I don't want animals living amongst us. I don't think that they should live with us. So it's a heartless thing because people are like, our family loves our dog, and I don't doubt that. I'm sure you do. But it is like, for me, like, can I have a little moral relativism? Like, I've tried. It's just another thing to take care of. And I love my kids. I would do anything for my kids. And we've tried the dog thing. And who did it fall on? Mom. And so that didn't work out. But my parents had dogs growing up. I didn't like them. I thought they were a nuisance. Of course, you sit there and you're like watching the game and they're looking up at you and you're petting them. I had all the sentimental moments. I'm not a monster, but I'm like, I'd prefer if you didn't live here. I'm not a pet person. And I know I'm the outcast, but people discover this. They're like, you're pro-life. And I'm like,
I don't think you're an outcast.
does
at
it
all.
have to? Now I got to like cats and dogs living in my house.
yeah, you just picked the best form of life, and that's the one you're all in on.
So the kids have this theory, which is probably going to happen, is that I will become an old man. And in the scenario, they're always killing off Mary Lisa, so somehow I'm outliving her. And
Happy
then,
Mother's Day.
exactly. And then I will get a dog, and my heart will be converted like Saul to Paul dog version. And I'll be so close to Fluffy or whatever I name this thing. And they'll be like, see, you finally came around. But that's like, It's like, you finally came around. It's like, I didn't grow up hating my children and abandoning my family. And then finally I got old and I had a conversion and I'm at Thanksgiving every year apologizing to everybody.
No.
Like, let's tap the brakes.
I think your kids are wrong. I don't think you're going to do that. I can tell you, when I was 11 years old, I remember being in art class. And for some reason, some kids, like, mom showed up with the kid's dog. Like, I don't know what this is about, whatever. And every other kid is, like, flocking around the dog, like, petting the dog. Oh, the dog is so cute. And I was like, I didn't want to get dog hand, so I just kind of stayed back. And then they're like, why isn't Steve
Your father raised you right.
Why isn't Steve petting the dog? And I was just kind of like, it was like Seinfeld, like, why didn't you wear
pen.
Yeah.
Take the pen.
And so the kid's mom's like, oh, you know, he probably, when he was little, he probably got bit and he's afraid. And so they're like, honey, when did you get bit? So I made up this story about getting bit by the dog so that I could stay back and not have to get dog hand.
You got rabies. You had to go to the ER.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, remember Alito in his dissent in the gay marriage case? And Alito wrote, we have now entered a world where Americans will have to whisper their beliefs in the comfort of their own homes out of fear of losing family, friends, and jobs. That's how I feel about the dog thing. Like, I can't tell anybody that I don't really prefer to have dogs. They get so offended. I'm sure we'll get emails or something. But I've tried.
I get it.
Like, it's like something weird because most people like it. It's like not liking pizza. But in this case, like, I've tried pizza. It was not helpful to my family, and that's it. And I understand everybody else in the world loves pizza. And so here's the guilty pleasure. Is I like meeting other anti-dog people like your dad.
Oh, yeah.
And you like see them at like the kids' soccer game and you're like, let's talk some trash amongst ourselves.
Tell them about the dog hand theory. I've never found an anti-pet person who doesn't like the dog hand theory.
So there's a funny twist to this. My in-laws have this little dog, Dixie, who's super cute. I don't know what kind of dog it is. I don't do all the Matzi Poo or whatever it is. But it's a little like house shoe dog. This dog loves me to death. Like, dotes on me. Okay? It's this like one-sided relationship where like the girl's way into you and you're like trying to turn your back and she doesn't get that you're not interested. And so it's funny because they're like, Dixie just loves dad. Like, she's trying to love, the teenagers love it. She's trying to love him into,
into loving her back.
Yeah, because they think I'm like hurting deep down. Like, what's the root of this? It gets way too deep.
They're going Freud on you?
They're going Freud. What in you is broken that you don't like, that you don't want a dog, And it's just funny to me. And there's a lot of, and of course, like, what I don't like is people are like, we spend $9 billion a year on animals. And I understand all that. And Pope Francis made that point, actually. But so that's a where are our priorities, because if we're having kids and we're supporting the family and we're not doing abortions and we're supporting women and we're doing all this, then great, we should have as many animals. But there's no doubt that the emotional, this is a point Robert makes a lot, actually, is that the dog can't abandon you. There's no risk to loving it. And when you remove love or authentic relationships, you're still human. You still want that. And the easiest shoe-in is a dog, because it's always going to be loyal and faithful. So anyways, I'll probably end up with a dog like in 3 weeks or something. I don't know. Just saying all this. So,
and we'll be wishing you a happy Father's Day as
a happy dog dad.
Happy dog dad. Yeah.
And so I'll do the opposite. I'll go the other extreme and I'll insist that people on their cards put happy dog dad day. I'll totally, if I'm going to convert, I'm going all the way, baby.
Yes.
And then I'll come and I'll sit down and I'll be like, my
and we'll
Father's
make play
days
dates with our
my
dogs.
Father's days post dog conversion are just so much more enjoyable. They're just Sparky or Rocky. I would definitely name him after a good movie character, Andy Dufresne. The Shawshank Redemption dog covered in sewage.
That's a really bad type of dog hand.
There you go. Hold on. There was one other point that I wanted to, I can't think of it. But, I have to disagree with you on something. Maybe it's not a big disagreement, but you're like, don't lay around and watch TV, which I agree with. Unless like the Masters or something is on, or like some kind of important game. Let's not lose our heads.
Yeah.
But one trend that happens, and it's not planned, it just happens every year because the kids are out of school in the summer, is that on Father's Day, mom, loving me, spoiling me, declares to the kids that night that we're going to watch a movie Dad wants to watch.
Okay.
And it's 99% of the time either Jaws, Terminator 2, or Independence Day. So
Yeah, I can get behind that.
it's like you get to eat whatever you want, but then you get to watch the movie that you want to watch.
It's purposeful. I think my beef isn't about watching something. My beef is about sometimes watching something is just you're just kind of like wasting the day away with no plan. So
Yeah.
I think that's good. I'll tell you what I think is a great way to spend at least Father's Day is and Mother's Day too if the moms want to do this. I think it's awesome to do something, to plan something that you love, regardless of whether your family loves it, because on that day, they're happy to share it with you. Like last year for Father's Day, someone in the 40 Days for Life world, who I will allow to remain nameless, surprised me by sending me like 10th row behind home plate tickets at Wrigley Field. So we brought the whole crew. I'm kind of worried, like my 3-year-old, like I think he's going to act right. But the people who are like sitting next to us probably paid big money for these. And I hope he doesn't ruin their experience by like dumping the nacho cheese on them.
This was random too from this person. You didn't expect.
No, I checked. I thought it was junk email.
One of our team members. And yeah.
I thought it was junk email, and I opened it. I was like, wait a minute, this is something good here. But this was great because like my family, like they're fine with baseball. Peter loves it like I do. The rest of them are okay with it. But this is like Father's Day is the day where like they flash up on the scoreboard like OPS 982, and the kids are like willing to listen to me talk and happy to listen to me. Well, what it is it's slugging percentage plus the on base percentage. Slugging is like batting average, but a double counts as 2 and a triple counts as 3. They're like all ears on Father's Day. So it's a great way, and you can kind of share these things and seed their interests, and that's like my Father's Day version of it. I think it probably works the same way for Mother's Day. Just you get to share things, and same thing perhaps if we spend those days with our parents too. Find something they like, and I'm all the more happy to take an interest in what my dad or my mom or my wife is interested in, even if 363 days of the year I'd be like, okay, whatever, I'll go along with it, but I'm not that interested.
Yeah, I think that comes in. I like rom-coms.
Okay.
I like the girly movies. I don't mind. I'm comfortable in my masculinity. But Mary Lisa always wants to like watch a comedy at night on Mother's Day, and I'm totally into it. Or some girly movie that is great.
One time for Mother's Day, I got sucked into watching a French film that was subtitled. It was like being buried alive.
What did you do to get through it? Like drink beer?
I tried to fall asleep.
I sedated myself, and that didn't work. That's pretty bold.
Yeah.
Did she enjoy it at least?
I'm not sure actually.
I don't think anyone would enjoy
It was
that.
it's one of those things that sounds pretty good, and I think
Yeah.
Laura was like, I thought I did, but then I realized I just thought I was supposed to.
Yeah.
You want to watch movies?
If there's something good, yeah. I'd rather go to the movie theater.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Mary Lisa loves the movies.
If there's something worth watching.
Yeah.
Otherwise, then,
Yeah.
But that's what I would rather. If I'm going to watch a movie, I'd rather go to the movie theater.
What's your movie theater snack?
Oh, well, popcorn. I have to have like popcorn, a hot dog, a pickle,
Nice.
and something sweet.
Do you put the peanut M&Ms in the popcorn?
No, I have to have it separate.
Me too, but Mary Lisa...
But it's usually Junior Mints. Junior Mints if it's at the movie theater.
It's chocolate, it's mint, it's delicious. It's very
But that's
refreshing.
really the only time I really enjoy them is at the movie theater with my popcorn and
So
my
I can't
hot
eat
dog.
a Junior Mint. I don't like peppermint. I
Okay.
don't like mint. Okay, I don't like mint chocolate chip ice cream. But Mary Lisa loves Junior Mints. But Mary Lisa is a mixing of worlds where you pour... I think we've talked about this on the podcast. You pour the peanut M&Ms in the popcorn. And my thing with the M&M mixing people is that's fine. We can do that. But you got to go in random, and what you get, you get. But she doesn't do that. She digs out the peanut M&Ms. And I'm like, just keep them in the thing, and you can have all the ones you want. So I will shut my mouth on Mother's Day if I take her to the movies, and I'll
That's allowed. Yep.
just say we're using this system. So, okay. This is really good. And Steve, you brought this up. One of the how-to is that if you kind of blow it on the gift, your IOU, I don't know, that's the worst, man.
I think he did that on purpose. It was strategic.
We're a
Set the
movement of
bar-
converts.
Set the bar low.
I don't know.
So that he can
You got to draw the line somewhere.
set the bar low. That way, the next year you can redeem yourself. So
But let's say you get a gift that you think is good and she thinks it is decent, which I don't think our wives would reveal because they're too nice. But you can kind of tell, okay, a good, well thought out, sincere note or card trumps everything. So that it kind of makes up for the sins of the gift.
my husband is an expert card giver.
Really?
Yes, he's a man of few words, and
Okay.
so whenever he picks out his card, it is very thoughtful, and they always bring me to tears because I know that that's what he wants to say, and he can't say it out loud. So I save all of his cards.
This is romantic.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
I mean, for me, that's just like the
he
best.
is a man of few words. So
Yes.
then it's when he speaks,
It's through the card, yeah, because it's the way, and I know that he's taken time to pick out the right one. You know,
We
you don't
too
get
are men
just
of few
your-
words, so
Yeah, I'm like a mute. So
You don't get like the general, oh, I got to hurry up and buy a card. I know he actually put a lot of thought into it.
and he has time to write the sincere card because you banned him from cooking.
Right.
So he doesn't have to. He's like, well, we're going out to eat. I got to get a card.
So cards and and flowers, and I'm happy. I don't need anything else.
What's your card situation? You've written a couple of books. You ever use that talent?
Ooh.
You ever use that talent for Mother's Day cards?
I don't have anything interesting to say about that. I think my cards are good, but I don't think they're what Ramona's husband is writing.
No, he's
Not writing them. Hallmark is obviously
Okay.
writing
But
them.
he's adding something.
Yeah, and I always love that on the back he always writes the date and the year. Like he always, and I don't know.
Stud.
I've never thought to do that ever with any of my any cards that I've ever given.
Do you write
anyone.
him a card on Father's Day?
Yeah.
Here's my beef with Hallmark, and it sounds like your husband is
He's
avoiding
now
this.
criticizing the card industry. I got a feeling you're blowing the card situation. I'm starting to get that vibe.
No, have you noticed though that like 2/3 of the cards that are out there are like, honey, I know I never tell you I love you or act like I love you, but Mother's Day is the day to remind you that I actually do love you.
They're all written by guys that are like divorced. I
Yeah,
think.
they're losers, and I don't want any part of that.
I make the card.
Ooh, that's
That's even better.
yeah, that's
I,
next
I
level.
make the card. I don't have like a workshop. I basically take a piece of computer paper and just write.
Okay.
But I log what I've written before, so I want like the new material.
Yeah.
And so, but there's an overall theme, obviously.
So you're not like at the craft store learning how to stamp and have
No.
all the card stock and
She laughs because, and now I just have to do it every year. She laughs because, and I do this on 40 Days for Life thank you cards. Like if I'm writing a handwritten card to somebody, I'll write their name on the envelope and I'll underline it. I don't know why, I just underline it. And so with Mary Lisa's cards, I don't know why she laughs at this. It's kind of funny. But I'll fold it, and then on the cover, I'll put my bride, and I'll underline it. And she laughs at the underline.
Okay.
I don't know why, but that's like, now I have to do it. And I just started doing it years ago. And she's like, you underlined it. I don't know why. It's funny.
I do that. That's why I was like, was that weird?
I don't know.
I've always underlined.
She's like, it's just funny that you underlined it.
The names.
Like to emphasize even further, I guess, that it was for her. I don't know.
Interesting.
But she likes the cards. And then I usually sign it by somebody else. Like a
One of the kids.
or like a celebrity or something.
Oh.
I've signed it Tom Brady. I've like stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Because then she cracks up laughing at the end.
I wish I could remember the phrasing of it, but this is going to, I think, support your point that I fail on the card front.
I'm telling you, I'm pretty confident in that point.
The phrasing was hilarious. I can't remember what it was, but it was something to the effect. The front of it was like, you and I were, I don't remember. Something like you and I like alone, something. And then the inside you open it and just said, from the weirdo store. And I thought it was great. Laura, I'm not so sure.
We really need to reconstruct your Mother's Day planning. I think this is getting to be... What does she do for Father's Day? Like, have you ever thought Father's Day was kind of lame?
No, it's never been lame.
Me neither. It's always been awesome. But can you for sure say that that's reciprocated?
Well, I have failed elements of Mother's Day. I don't think I've ever failed a Mother's Day on a whole.
That means you have. That means you have. That's like a little pregnant.
My column about how dads are not idiots was maybe wrong, is what you're saying here.
Yeah.
My newspaper column.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not that. It's not. You're not Homer Simpson, but you're not at your A game on Mother's Day.
Whatever we have done as like our family activity has always been solid. That's been good.
Yeah.
The gifts are usually good. Sometimes there was a couple of years of the IOU. That's not good.
Good religious art is great for Mother's Day. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's always a good go-to.
Yep.
Some nice earrings. I've gotten way more confident the last 5-10 years of buying Mary Lisa clothes.
Okay.
Or like I bought her a jacket one year for Christmas that she loved, a coat.
These are good ideas. These are helpful.
Sometimes I run it past the mother-in-law because they have the same taste. But I've bought purses, I've bought earrings that I'm just like.
Well, I imagine your daughters are probably helpful too.
Yeah, but
not necessarily.
I've investigated. Yes. I've asked them on some stuff, and they're like, "No, that's cute. Mom would like it." But there is a generation gap, and sometimes Mary Lisa's like, "What are they wearing?" It's not like scandalous, but just like, I don't think that matches your jeans or whatever. And so I'm a little more cautious. My mother-in-law is way more. One year, like I went out on a limb and bought like bedding, which I'm like terrible. But I'm like, she's always talking about. You know how it is. What is it with all the pillows and the bedding, and that's like a thing, and like a million pillows.
Making your bed is like an archaeological experience.
Oh, you got to walk around. There's pillows everywhere. It's crazy. But she's into it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I can't pick out bedding, and so I've narrowed it down to like 4 different things. And my mother-in-law was like, "Get that," and she loved it. But that was pretty risky. But yeah, have you ever bought Laura like a purse?
No.
Pretty intimidating.
No, it would be bad news. It would be bad news. I maybe need to get educated at this point in my life on how to do that sort of thing.
Here's what I've learned about purses is that you have to look at the dimensions, because there'll be some purse on the internet or whatever, and it looks like you don't have a purse with you. It looks like Mary Lisa's purse has to hold stuff, right? She's not flying off on a private jet with Richard Gere, okay? It's like she's not going to some formal thing. She needs like a cute purse, but also one that's functional. And so sometimes you'll be like, oh, that purse, that's great. That would go with a lot, like according to my superficial feelings. And then you order it and it's tiny. It just looked big on the internet. So what you have to do, I didn't realize this because I don't think like a woman. There's a button you can push that'll show you a picture of a woman holding the purse so that you can see the scale. And that's when, because I've given her a purse before and she's
Take notes, Steve.
Yeah, this is tough because I think one of my challenges here is Laura, I think, has actually achieved Christian detachment. And so there's nothing she particularly needs or wants. Whereas like I would like to say that I have, like, we could go to a ball game. We could get some steaks. We could go to a concert.
There's a lot of attachment out there. It's great.
Yeah. And people who are attached, like me, really easy to buy gifts for. I love everything.
But I think people that are detached are easy to buy for, because Mary Lisa's the same.
Okay.
And so she wouldn't buy
Exactly.
herself different things. And I've gotten, again, like 10 years ago, I would have been like terrified. I'm not even going near this. But like, I think 2 years ago for Christmas, I bought her like a scarf. Like who buys themselves a scarf? Nobody.
I was going to say that I think it does make it easier because also experienced that where I'm just detached from everything. And I think we are easier to buy for because everything pleases us.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't, like for example, one year my husband bought me some perfume. I would have never bought that for myself. Number one, it was too expensive. And so I just can't justify it. But when he bought it for me, I was like, wow, thank you. Like this is amazing because I would have never done it for myself. So it made it that much more special.
I'm a big perfume guy, big scented candles guy.
Okay.
Because it's just a go-to. And she loves it. She won't buy it for herself. But
And the perfume thing is really nice too because that means he likes the way it smells.
right.
It's not about whether or not I like the way it smells. And so that kind of kind of like, you did that more for yourself.
You just got to be careful. If you find one and you think, you like it, you order it off the internet. But if you go into some place and they start having you smell stuff, it's like shooting fish in a barrel if you're a guy. They're like, oh, well, you got to, and of course there's no prices on it. You have no idea what any of this stuff costs or what it is. And so that's kind of a warning on the perfume front. But it's easy go-to. Plus, selfishly, if you want your wife to remember what a great gift giver you are, it's like, it takes a year or 6 months to go through some of these perfumes. It's like a daily reminder.
Yeah.
He got me that. There's a little selfish motivation if you want to kind of.
And religious jewelry is always a hit for me too. Like any type of religious jewelry is like a go-to as well because I never get tired of that either.
Right.
This wasn't Mother's Day, but the gift that I nailed my greatest accomplishment ever was about 5 years ago. You sent me out to Montana to do some kind of project for 40 Days for Life, and I brought my son with me.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know, 6 years old. And we went out and just took a day afterwards and went into the Montana hills for this like sapphire mining thing. It's like, I don't know what this is about. It's a tourist attraction, I'm sure. No, we wound up like using map coordinates. There were no streets, no electricity, no phone, no anything. We used the map coordinates to find our way to this place, and we dug sapphires out of the Montana hills, brought it back, and had it cut and made a ring for my wife with a sapphire that my son dug out of the hill. It was a great day.
I mean, you have that within you. That's unbelievable. You dug a ring out of a mountain like Indiana Jones, and then you're doing the IOU the next year.
Sometimes you just can't summon up genius. It comes as it will.
We'll wrap this up with some kind of sports analogy. Who is just so hot or cold, like in baseball, where you just like never know what you're gonna get? That's kind of your maybe you're Nolan Ryan, like you're striking them out or you're walking them.
Yeah,
there's just no in between.
Or I'm the Two-Face on Seinfeld.
That's pretty awesome. I think you win. I mean,
when I'm on, I'm on.
I've never dug a piece of jewelry out of a mountain.
Yeah, husband needs to step it up.
I know. He better up the cards. Of course, he's giving you cards. Steve's over here.
This is where I think I fall into the trap, is you nail it and you're like, I'll come up with something. I always do, but then you don't always.
That's why I said you'd leave the bar low.
You never know what you're going to get. It's just a complete crapshoot.
I'm interested in you reporting back. We're recording this. It's a couple of weeks out, so I'm on it now because I have gotten Mary Lisa's stuff from Buc-ee's before, and she loved it.
Okay.
It was.
They have awesome things at Buc-ee's.
They have awesome things at Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
And it was. I got her stuff where you really wouldn't know that it was from Buc-ee's because then I knew the kids would laugh. But like, she loves this stuff. People are gonna think I'm like some like sexist or something, but she. Like a good cutting board that can also be like a serving board, like with the handles and everything, where you could it's big. I got her a couple of other things there.
They have like
kitchen-y stuff.
Yeah, they have great stuff.
Hand towels, nice hand towels.
I think here's an area where I go wrong is I'm like 8 years old. I'm like, boring.
Right. You're wrong on that. Like, to me, it's the basics.
Get it together, Steve.
I think Christmas one year, it wasn't like her main gift, but I bought Mary Lisa like a new set of towels.
Yeah, I'd be down with that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm thinking this is really lame, but because if somebody gave me a towel, I would be like, what kind of creepo are you? But women like towels, a bath mat. I got like a new bath mat, like a bathroom set. And I just went
I'd be down for that too.
All white. I'm not touching the colors or whatever. I'm just like, I do all white. But
Or gray.
Yeah,
Gray's
it did
good
gray.
too.
And then I discovered from my bride, she loves navy, but she likes navy towels or like navy outfits, but would never have like navy bedding or sheets. I don't know. And when we first got married, I cashed in all my chips as a husband. We had this dumpy little apartment. It was like $300 a month behind A&M's campus. It was pretty ghetto. We heard gunshots. It wasn't nice, but we were like, hey, we have an apartment. We're married. So I convinced her to paint the apartment Dallas Cowboy blue.
Awesome.
I mean, you see the old photos because there's one of like her holding a pregnancy test with like Bridget when we first discovered she's pregnant. And so we're in our old apartment. And it's like this blue everywhere. And to this day, Mandy's is like, I hope you know that I really loved you. I can't believe I allowed that, even as a newlywed. Like, it's so horrific. And even I look at the pictures, I'm like, that's a lot of blue. Like, you know, and so that was really bad. So I totally cashed all that in. But anything else as we wrap up? You win. What beautiful stories. How great. Mother's Day post-conversion. I love it. I love it.
I'll say any ideas for Mother's Day gifts, please send them immediately to podcast@40daysforlife.com.
Oh, flag it. Put it in there. Post it on the YouTube page. Steve, do this.
Yeah, do not delay.
Laura won't listen to this podcast, right?
I don't think so. I always
Okay.
tell her to, but she's like, well, I'm
busy.
taking the kids places.
Yeah, so post your comments on YouTube. Laura won't see those. I'm going to think of some stuff for you as well.
I'm all ears because the inspiration hasn't hit yet, and I'm getting nervous.
I'm actually sincerely worried about you. And I got to get on it. I've given all of these ideas. I'm going to come up with something new. So thank you to all the mothers and fathers. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Father's Day. Be sure to not only rate, review, and share this podcast, leave your comments, give Steve some free advice. And of course, with the dads, it's easy. 40 Days for Life gear. That's what they want. That's what they want. Or get them Steve's book. That's actually a great Father's Day book. You could give Laura a signed copy of your own book. There's an idea. That'll go over well.
It's 2 for 1 then. I need a card if I've inscribed the book?
Yes, you still need a card.
We're ending this episode. We will see you next time. God bless you.